welcome. I am today going to show you guys how to highlight and contour. So I already have my base makeup on. So what I did today was I mixed my tinted moisturizer with my foundation. I have been using Senegence and I used the tinted moisturizer in the color medium. It comes in light, medium, or deep. And then I also used the color Tan Anti-Aging Foundation, which is great for drier skin. There's also a Make Sense line, which is great for if you have more oily skin. So what I did is I mixed the two together and applied it on my face. This is going to give you a medium coverage. If you want more of a light coverage and you want more of your freckles to show through, or you just don't need a ton of coverage, you have nice, beautiful, young skin, you can use just our tinted moisturizer. I actually use that on a daily basis when I am not doing more of a glam look, if I'm just running errands, running to the gym, or doing anything like that. So I don't need full coverage, but if you do or like a fuller coverage, you can use just our foundation. So I've mixed the two, I've put it all over my face and already applied that. The next thing I did was I already put on my light concealer. The rule of thumb for concealer is to go about 1/2 to 1 shade lighter than your foundation. So I use our color light in our cream concealer and I just put it under my eyes and on any blemishes that I need to correct. So I've already done that. And the next thing I'm going to do is show you guys how to contour, and then we'll go into highlighting. So for contouring, what that means is you are pretty much accentuating places on your face that you want to change a little bit. So let's say you want your cheekbones to pop out a little bit more. You can contour under your cheekbones a little bit. Let's say you have a wider bridge nose, or maybe you just don't love your nose. You want to make it a little bit more narrow, something like that. You can create shadows to create the illusion that it is longer and leaner and more narrow. I also like to contour just kind of around my face a little bit, just to kind of frame everything in, and which leaves the center of it brighter, and also on my jawline. If you feel like you need more of a definition, you can contour right along that jawline, and it really makes your jawline pop out, you know, get rid of that double chin. So here we go, let's contour. I like to use the color Deep of our Senegence Tinted Moisturizer. It's nice and creamy, it's easy to blend, and what I do is I put a little bit on my hand. You can see I've already been playing with it. And I like to use this Real Techniques contour brush. What I do is, instead of putting the product on my face first to make sure that it doesn't set and stay and that it's going to blend easy, I like to put it on my hand and kind of dip my brush in there. Now this color is dark for me. A little bit goes a long way. So I get a little bit on my brush. If you are nervous, of course you can tap your brush on an old towel. I always have a makeup towel laying around, so I can tap my brush on it just to ensure I don't get too much. So I'm just going to go in circles here, right under my cheekbone. Now I can feel my cheekbone here. That's the harder part of your bone. Underneath is the softer part. That is where you want to contour. So a good rule of thumb is the top of your ear to about the edge of your lip, but leaving about 1 inch there. You don't want to go all the way down to your lip. You can put as little as you want contour. I like to just kind of buff it out in circles, and then I always finish with a powder to blend it all in so you don't have that harsh line there. We'll worry about that in a second, but blend it as much as you can. Less is more. Always start with less, and you can always add more. So you can already see that that has contoured my cheekbone. They're popping out even more by just creating that shadow there. So the next place I like to go is I like to just kind of travel around my face. And like I said, if you see any imperfections, we'll go back and buff that out and put a little bit of powder over it. And then I like to go a little bit on my jawline here just to create that illusion of a stronger jaw, because who doesn't like that? No double chins here. All right, so now that I've done that, if you like to go on the bridge of your nose, you can do that as well. I use a little bit of a smaller brush to do that. This one is Real Techniques setting brush. I use it to contour with and highlight with. So you can go right on the bridge of your nose, which creates, you can see little shadows there, which create that to look more narrow. You can kind of travel it up to your brow line just to blend it a little bit more. If you have a more round nose, I do not, mine's very pointy, so I don't really need to do this, but I'll show you. You can drag that line in a little bit, creating more of an angled nose. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that is contouring. The next thing I'm gonna do is just kind of go over, and I like to set it with a powder. And you can use a more full coverage powder or a lighter powder. I'm gonna use our Senegence translucent powder. Comes in a tube like this, super easy to take with you throughout the day if you need a little touch up, if you get oily in areas. It's a great product to keep in your purse to touch up. For this purpose, at home, I like to use a different brush, and I like to pour it in my own little canister and use a bigger fluff brush. This is more of a full coverage powder brush, and I will put this all over my face, and you can see how that just gently softens my contour and blends it all together. This is translucent, so it's colorless. But what it does is just add a little bit more of a matte finish, and I think helps blend everything out really nicely. And then I always go down my neckline to ensure that there's no cutoff line right there from your neck to your face. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is highlight. So why we highlight is to contour is to kind of diminish areas of your faces that you think are maybe less perfect. Highlight is to accentuate those places on your face that maybe you think are more perfect and you want to stand out. So I love our Pearlizer by Senegence. This product is not glittery, it's just pearly. So it has this nice kind of golden glow to it. It's almost like a rose gold. It's gorgeous. I love putting this on to highlight on my face. One, because it's a cream, easy to use, easy to blend. It's gonna stay on all day. It's not powder or gonna flake off, and that's why I love it. So what I do is I put about a pea size on my hand, and then I take a little brush, like a stipple brush, a more dense one. This one's called the Expert Face Brush by Real Techniques. Like I said before, great beginner brushes, Amazon or Target, you can find these. I like to dip my brush and kind of saturate it in there. And the places you can accentuate are top of your cheekbone. You've already kind of contoured to create more of a narrow jaw and cheekbone. Now you can highlight right on top of that cheekbone to accentuate it even more. So you can see it just adds a nice, like it says, pearly glow. This is the Pearlizer by Senegence. Now, if you like your nose, you can highlight down the bridge of your nose, and it creates some glow right there. If you do not love your nose or want to accentuate your nose, I would skip that area. I also like to go right above my lip. It creates kind of a little bit of that pouty look if you want a little bit of a more plump lip look. Easy as that. So those are a few places that you can highlight. You can do a little bit on your forehead if you want. If you get oily, I wouldn't do it on your forehead. You can also do a tiny bit on your chin. If you're more of an oily person, I would stick to just your cheekbones. And then if you like your nose, of course, on top of your nose and then your lip. And that is highlighting there. Again, I take a tiny bit more of translucent powder. Again, I'm gonna put that in here. It's very, very lightweight. It's not a ton of coverage or anything, so it's not thick or cakey powder. It's just very light. It just really blends everything together really nicely, and your Pearlizer will still shine through the translucent powder. It just kind of blends everything together. I hate messy eyebrows, so I'm gonna just do that. And then that would be all I would do for my highlight and contour. So hopefully that helped and gave you a few tips. I hope you enjoy all my other videos and hope to see you back soon.